Hey my loves, welcome to my internet home. My name is Tesh and today I am going to show you guys how you can hide your magic. And when I say hide your magic, I mean hide your magic from people knowing you've done a spell on them and hiding your magic in plain sight so it doesn't look as obvious if you're a person who likes a certain aesthetic of your home. Okay, so one of my favorite ways of hiding my magic is in candles. Now, you can hide your magic in candles in a few ways. And I guess I should have had one of those scented candles. I'm going to use this in place of a scented candle. This is a beeswax candle that I made. Now, if this was, let's say, a scented candle, what you can do to hide your magic in a scented candle is just take your piece of scissors or a knife that has sharp but a small point on it like this. Okay, I got these from Dollar Tree, and you'll just dig a nice hole into the wax. Okay, and you'll go all the way down as far as your scissors can take you, and when you make your hole, you'll just stuff your herbs or petition or whatever, what have you, in there. I usually will use a regular but a small steak knife, like a thinner steak knife, and just go in here with one of these. I use these scissors when I'm doing a candle like this, okay? And for this candle, what you'll want to do, the same thing. You'll put a hole at the bottom, and I actually have a video on how to hollow and stuff one of these candles, so I will try to remember to upload the video. If not, y'all please just scroll through. Y'all should be able to find it in my library on YouTube. But yes, you can hollow these candles as well and stuff petitions and herbs and things like that in it, and then naturally just put it into your candle holder and have it sitting regularly burning like a regular candle. Same thing with the candles, the scented candles that you get in your home. You can buy the ones that have certain herbs or essence that you like that goes with whatever magic you're doing. If they have those certain essential oils, you can activate that candle, but then again, put that hole in the candle and stuff it with whatever herbs and the spell and the petition and the crystals and whatever else you want to put in there. Then what you'll do to stuff it back is just take that wax, cover the top, and then you'll take one of these. Mine's is like a little blowtorch, but if you have a lighter like this, you can just light the top of it and melt that wax back on there, or you can put it in the microwave and just let it melt that way. Okay, so that is a very, very fun and simple way. Keep it in plain sight. It'll have your house smelling good, and you can still not mess up the decor. And of course, make sure you follow the theme of whatever color magic you're doing with your candles. Okay, another candle trick is a candle jar. Now, I get these jars from Dollar Tree, and what I do is I fill them up, and I have a video on how to do a candle magic jar. And you'll just put your herbs and your resins and whatever else in here while you're activating them. You'll put the candle in the middle, light the candle, of course, burn it out. And when you close your jar, you can hide this in a quiet place, under a cabinet, in the drawer, on top of a shelf in the kitchen, anything to that nature, any place to that nature that will just keep it quiet, and no one will know that this is a spell, unless you're a witch and then you come across it and you're like, oh shit. But other than that, everybody will just think it's a jar full of herbs, and maybe it's potpourri or something to that nature. People might think, or you can just say it's a spiritual bath and that you take baths with it and leave it at that if you want to keep it in your bathroom, anything to that nature. So again, that's a beautiful way to hide your magic, and people won't know nonetheless of what is going on with you. Okay, now another way you can hide your magic is by using animate objects. Now, when you're using the animate objects, you want to make sure you're using things that really have some type of symbolism. You don't just want to grab a cup and say, I'm going to use this cup to put a curse. No, you want to have something like crystals. When you see people with really large crystals that are beautiful, they are using the vibration of that crystal. They're doing magic with that crystal. They're trying to cleanse the energy. They're trying to conjure money. They're trying to block people from coming into their home. I have seen people take black tourmaline crystals and tape them to the top of their doors to protect their salons and things to that nature. And this is wonderful protection magic, and people will not know nonetheless. You can also, if you have like a little cross or something that you buy, you know how you buy something cute, a cute little ceramic cross, you can bless and anoint that cross. The palms that you get from church on Sundays, when you can bless and anoint those and hang those over, and that can be wonderful protection magic, and it keeps people out of your business and what's really going on. You see what I'm saying? You can also tape a crystal behind the cross if you want to do something like that. Put a picture of Archangel Michael, a picture of an ancestor, and speak to that ancestor and talk to that ancestor about protecting your home. And you can just simply have that picture up, and people just think it's a picture, but it's your ancestor protecting your home because you've spoken to them, okay? And you've cleared it out with them of what you want them to do as far as protection or manifestation or whatever it is that they're doing for you. So that's another way you can do magic in your home, or, you know, without people really knowing and seeing a whole altar set up. Even though, please have your altars and keep them. You don't want people seeing your altars. You don't want people all around your altars. You don't want that. So when you're doing your magic, you can still be creative about how and when you're doing it, okay? Now, another way you can do it is with boxes. Now, this box is pretty big. It's an old box that I got from Dollar Tree. But Dollar Tree has these in a smaller version, about a quarter of the size. And in these boxes, you can put magic in them. You can use these as well. Let's say you're trying to manifest a baby, manifest money, anything. You can literally put all of the ornaments or objects that you want to conjure with, your voodoo doll and all the herbs around it, and pray over everything, of course. Cover up, when you close the box and you cover this box up and you put it in a dark place, no one will know the least about it. They will think it's just a box. And if you have them stacked with other ones, they'll just think they're one of many boxes. It's just that simple. It wouldn't make that big of a deal. Sorry guys, I'm funny about my table. It wouldn't make that big of a deal as far as the boxes are concerned. Another spell, or a whole spell you can do, is a protection spell with the smaller boxes. And this is something with flax seeds and red pepper flakes. And you can just put them in the box, close the box up, of course, pray over it and bless it and all that stuff. And put that in a dark corner under a shelf by your front door, or somewhere in your home in a dark corner for protection of your home. Just simple, simple. Nobody will know the wisest of this being a spell or anything, okay? You can bury your spells to hide them. And that's not even just to hide them, to make them work. Because sometimes that's what you need to do to complete the spell, is bury it. But that's also a great way to not have everybody know that there's a money spell being done on you because it's been buried in the yard. Or a certain type of spell that's been done on another person that's been buried in a specific place. You know, or left on a railroad track or what have you. Okay? Now, you can use water. Water is so much fun to hide your magic because it can just simply look like a glass of water. It's just that simple. Like, it can literally be a glass of water sitting on a table, and that water can have just salt in it, and that water can be cleansing your home. Just like that. You can have a glass of clear water just sitting by a candle, just looking beautiful and clear and pretty. And that is an altar that people don't even know is your altar. And that's where you go when you pray and you do your magic right there. Simple. You can also, if you're trying to, let's say, manifest money, you can invoke the energy of whatever essential oils or herbs, or you can just pray over the water and conjure money with the water. The water is a conductor and a conduit of energy. So it'll help bring that energy to you, and it'll also help hold the energy that you put into it. Let that be good or bad energy. So I want to say that to be clear. And you don't want to use you want to use distilled water, or you can use any type of water if you're doing like dark magic or protection magic. But if you're doing something to bring money towards you, or a baby, or love, then you want to use some type of distilled water that has been, you know, cleansed and all that type of stuff. All right. Another one is actually one of my favorites, and it is with flowers. So when you see a beautiful bouquet of roses on someone's table or in the middle of the foyer, depending on the flowers that are in there, that bouquet of flowers can be a whole spell. The roses can be love and protection and banishing and domination, and the carnations and the lilies and I mean, it goes on and on and on as far as what rose does what flower does what color does what. And if you're trying to do, let's say, amplify a love spell, you may have a bushel, a dozen of roses with a dozen of carnations. And people are like, wow, that's really pretty. And it's literally a love spell that you've blessed and anointed the roses, and you've protected it with the rose petals, and you've protected it with the rose leaves, and you're dominating the person with the this and the that. And I'm not even going to get into all of that because that's not what this is about. But you can literally do a whole domination love spell with roses and flowers, basically, just like that. And people would not know the wisest that you're doing a spell through some flowers that are sitting on your table. Okay, so that's another great way. You need to research the flowers, what properties they have, and you can just work with flowers by themselves and kick ass as far as magic is concerned. That's one of my favorite ways. Speaking of flowers, I wanted to show you guys a few herbs that'll help you hide your magic. Now, when I say hide it, I mean that you can add these herbs to your spells, and the person that you're doing the work on won't know that you have done this to them, or, you know, they won't know that a spell has been done to them. The first thing is lavender. Lavender is great, of course, for calming and blessings. It's good for domination work. It's also great with hiding your magic, believe it or not. So if you want to hide that you're doing a love spell on someone, you should add a little lavender to that spell, and that will help hide the magic. Another way you can hide your magic is with bay leaves. Now, I have dry bay leaves here, but yes, the bay leaves will help hide your magic as well. It's also great for manifesting money and anything you want, anything as far as abundance, you can use to hide your magic. We also have some rose leaves, and rose leaves are great for hiding magic as well. They help with domination. They help with controlling the mind. And also lavender is also part of that domination, controlling the mind crew, where you can, you know, get a person to do what you want them to do without them knowing that you're dominating them. Okay. You can also use pins in certain parts of voodoo dolls to blind them so that they won't be able to use certain sights and skills and things to that nature. So that's another way you can hide your magic. And speaking about domination spells, that is honestly a great way to hide your magic. When you're doing a spell on them, add a layer of domination spell to the spell so that they won't know. And if anybody ever come to check, let's say they go get a reading or something to that nature, the person that's doing the reading wouldn't be able to see it either, because you've put a veil over your magic and you're dominating him and whoever tries to come into his aura or her aura, you know. to get that information. So those are some really, really fun ways. I think I gave y'all about 10 today of ways you can hide your magic in plain sight, and hide it in the closet, however you want to. But these are just ways to just not have everything so overt. You know, all of us aren't walking around with the turbans and shaking coconuts. We're all not on that tip. Some of us don't meditate the same way some people may sit in Indian style and meditate. Everybody don't meditate the same. Some people lay and meditate. Everybody, you know, this spirituality thing, let's not get into that. I love y'all. Have any more questions, hit me up at patreon.com/insight by Tesh. I'll see y'all in the next video. Bye.